Hey y'all, hey, I'm back with another video. So, I don't know, get a snack, get a something, you might have to pause this, but I am here to review and to go over WrestleMania this past weekend, okay? WrestleMania 42. Now, just to set the playing field for people who may be new and do not know, I am new to this shit. I'm not true to this shit. I am very much so new. So, just again for the people who don't know, like I said, might be your first time viewing. I got back into wrestling. I started watching like night 2 of WrestleMania 40, right? And so then from there, I was watching. But to be fair, that first year from WrestleMania 40 to 41, I was watching, but not super consistently because this is right before they went on Netflix for Raw and all that other stuff internationally. So I was paying attention a little bit, but I was missing a lot of episodes. So when WrestleMania 41 came around, I was pretty aware, kind of. I was better aware than I was the previous year, but I still was kind of out of it. This year, from WrestleMania 41 to 42, I would say is like my first year deep in the IWC. I'm deep, bitch. I'm deep. From 40 to 41, I was like dipping my toes in. But what I'm telling you, from WrestleMania 41 to 42, I don't think I've missed. Well, I can't speak. Now, I'm going to be clear. I just started watching SmackDown not that long ago. I always watch Raw and I don't watch NXT. So, as far as Raw is concerned, though, I have watched every single episode of Raw since WrestleMania 41 to now. I just started watching SmackDown maybe like... Now, I will always watch clips and stuff right before I was watching it, but I didn't watch it because everybody said it was a terrible show, and I'm starting to go back to maybe possibly not watching it. We'll see what happens. But I think I've been watching it maybe for like the last, I would say maybe like 3 or 4, no, whenever it started to be, I want to say whenever WrestlePalooza happened, which I think was like either August, September, of October of last year, whenever it went from the PLEs being from Peacock to the app, and I wasn't getting the app, I just so happened to have a VPN, so I just started watching SmackDown through my VPN or whatever. So I want to say, let's just say like around October, I've been watching SmackDown consistently. And the reason I started watching SmackDown is because shit would happen on Raw or on the PLEs, and I wouldn't get a full understanding because I'm not watching SmackDown. So I was like, okay, let me just watch both. SmackDown is fucking trash, to be very clear. But I just want to level set. So this is my first full year being deep. I'm talking about deep into this shit. I've watched every episode. I watch all the people, like I said, on YouTube that talk about it or whatever. So coming into this WrestleMania, was the first WrestleMania I was completely deep in. I knew about every single storyline. There wasn't one match on there that I didn't know how we got there. There wasn't nobody that I didn't know who it was. I was really proud of myself during the Royal Rumble because I knew on the men's side, I knew every single person. Every single person. I was so proud of myself. So yeah, so let's talk about WrestleMania 42. So I want to start off with I have some notes, y'all. Y'all know I got notes. So I want to start off with like my overall, I won't say experience, but my overall thoughts. I would give WrestleMania 42 out of a 10, I'm gonna give it a 7. And the reason I'm gonna give it a 7, it would have gotten higher for me, but I have to combine both nights. Now, if we're saying the nights separately, night 1 gets a smooth... Let me look at this list again. We're going to go through all the matches, but I want to look at it again to make sure I ain't losing my damn mind. Oh, yeah, that's going to get a smooth 4 or 5. 4 maybe a 4. Night 2 is going to get a strong 9 for me, right? A strong 9. So the reason why I broke it down to a 7 is because night 1 really pulled it down. Now, what I was confused about is when the card first got announced, right? And it was on Twitter or whatever. And when I was clicking on the quotes for all of the, for both of the different nights, or when they showed the graphic for both nights, the majority of people that I saw was saying, oh my gosh, night one. And I'm looking at the card like, just me. Maybe it's just, you know, me being new or whatever. Nothing on night one. Nothing on night one gave. The only thing that I was somewhat excited about on night one was, honestly, Jacob and Drew. And I love Seth Rollins. So, like, there's just really anything he does, I'm going to be, like, if y'all know, Seth Rollins is my favorite wrestler, period. It ain't no getting around it. Y'all not touching him. Y'all not fucking with him. I'm so glad that he's back. But night two for me was stacked. Night two was fucking stacked. The only thing I didn't really care about on night two was Rhea versus Jade. And that's more so because I don't give a shit about Rhea. I love Jade. Shout out to Jade. That's my bitch. But yeah, I was super confused about that. But anyway, and as it played out, guess what was better? Night two. Sure the fuck was. Now, this is the first year that WrestleMania and ESPN are doing this little, right? They since they've, you know, kind of came together. I believe night one, the first hour appeared on ESPN2, I believe. And then night two, the first hour appeared on ESPN. Now, to be fair, right? I mean, is it a big deal? I guess in the grand scheme of things, yes, it's a big deal that WrestleMania was on ESPN. That's never happened. But just from like a everyday standard, not really, because this is the thing. The thing is, people don't really watch linear TV anymore. That's just where we are. So it's like, this would have been a really, really big deal. What we in 2026? 15 years ago, I feel like this would have been a really big deal. 2010, 11, 12, somewhere around there. I feel like it would have been a bigger deal because people were still watching linear TV. But today, you ain't really got a lot of people that's watching TV in that way. But it's still, I guess, a big deal or whatever, right? And they showed their ass for hour one for night two. Now, would it have made me buy the $30 app? Absolutely the fucking not. But I would have been like, oh my gosh, okay, that's interesting. I probably would have been Googling trying to figure out how to watch it. Which is what happened to me for WrestleMania 40. To be fair, WrestleMania 40, night two, when I came in as a casual, as somebody that hadn't watched wrestling in 10 fucking years, that night two, although I didn't know anything that was going on, I didn't understand anything other than the older wrestlers that I knew, the energy and the everything, it made me like, okay, let me try to get back into this shit, right? And like, y'all doing stadiums. When I was a kid, WrestleMania was still done at like arenas and stuff. It wasn't really done at like football stadiums, or maybe it was, but also back in the day, WrestleMania was always on pay-per-view, and my parents wasn't paying for no damn pay-per-view. The only time I saw WrestleMania is if I went to my grandfather's house, because my grandfather loved wrestling. And so I want to say my entire life, I might have only seen maybe like 2 or 3 WrestleManias, and I can't even tell you which ones those are. Everything else, when I was a kid, you knew WrestleMania was coming up. You knew your parents wasn't about to buy it, so it just was what it is, what it was. But the next Monday, they was always going to tell you what happened during WrestleMania. So that's all. That's just to set that there, right? So yeah, so like I said, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. Okay. A few things before we go into, like I said, breaking down each match. A few things I want to touch on. After being so deep into wrestling for like I said, 2 years, but really consistently for 1 year, I would like to say, oh, my baby is up. Hold on, y'all. Okay, sorry about that. I had to make sure my baby was okay. Anyway, so like I said, being in this bitch for about like a year. Okay, one of the things that I've learned a lot. I've learned not just a lot about wrestling, but I've learned a lot about how like the IWC moved, and to me what's really interesting is the corporate games that be played. And that's because I work in corporate America, so I find that shit kind of interesting. But one of the few things that I've learned over this last year, that going into like, you know, this new chapter, season, whatever the hell they want to call it, is spoilers, right? I have seen so many spoilers from the people I watch on YouTube to the shit I see on Twitter, and a lot of it does like ruin things for me, especially as somebody that's still pretty new and I'm just trying to get back into the feel of everything. I'm honestly tired of all of the spoilers when it comes to like wrestling. I'm sick and tired of it. It kills the moment. It kills the momentum. I don't like it. I'm not one of those people that can, like my man, for example, when we started watching Game of Thrones, I want to say maybe like around season 3 or season 4 is when we got into it, or like even with like Invincible, right? My man is the type that he wants to know every single thing. He wants to know how it played out, when it played out. He's gonna go and watch YouTube videos on the comics, explain top to bottom. When Game of Thrones was on, he knew everything. He knew the lore. He knew how it was gonna end. He know how House of Dragon is gonna end and everything that's gonna happen. And that doesn't stop him from wanting to watch the show or being excited about the show, right? So let me nerd out for a quick second. This last episode of Invincible, when Thrag showed the fuck up and showed the fuck out, he knew what was going to happen with Thrag, but he was still super excited to watch it, and he got his life, right? Somebody like me, if I would have knew what was going to happen, I would have been like, oh, okay, like, that's cool, right? Everybody's different, but I need to stay away. The point of the matter is, I need to stay away from spoilers, okay? That's number one. Number two, we are allowed, and I just want to be clear when I say this, like, I don't think there's anything wrong with critiquing a product, critiquing what you watch, having like likes and dislikes about something that you watch. But one thing I've really noticed about the IWC, a lot of you niggas are extremely negative. Like, I'm talking about next level negative. There's so many times that I've gone and I've watched the episode of Raw, or I've gone and I've watched the PLE or whatever, and I walked away from it, myself personally, being like, okay, was it the best thing in the world? No, but it wasn't terrible. Like, I thought the show was okay. I thought I was entertained a little bit here and there and there. And then I'll go and I'll watch, like, I don't want to really be calling people out, but like, I could say names because who the hell am I? Like, for example, Wrestle Talk, right? I love the Wrestle Talk YouTube. I found them after last year's WrestleMania. Super, I watched them literally every time damn near they drop something, I watched them. But they be so negative sometimes. Like, again, sometimes I'll walk out of an episode of Raw and be like, okay, that was pretty cool. And then the next day when I watch Wrestle Talk, it was the worst thing in the world. Oh my gosh, this and that and this and that. And everybody know that JD from NY, that is king negative. But I get it because, like, that's his brand. His brand is rant, rave, upset guy. So I get that. But it feels like a lot of the IWC is just very, 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 very fucking negative. That's why I really like, it's not Attitude Era Mike anymore. I think it's Mike Trison. I like him because when I watch, and he even points this out on his stream, that like people say he's the most positive. He is one of the most positive people that I watch, because to me, I feel like him and In the Clutch, I feel like they're pretty fair, like, with their assessments when they're watching, like, wrestling, right? Like, if something is just completely, absolutely ridiculous, they're gonna call that out. But for the most part, they really do just sit there and enjoy the show, and it's not so super, super, super nitpicky or whatever. They have their critiques, but it's not the way I feel like a lot of other people in IWC, like, nitpick when it comes to wrestling. And I do agree with the sentiment. I don't agree 1,010% what Triple H said last year, like, I wish everybody would just shut up and watch the product. But I think about that line sometimes, because sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes I get what he means by that, because sometimes y'all are so into the minutia of, well, like, pretty much doing a booking for yourselves. Like, y'all, what do they call it? Fantasy booking. Like, y'all are fantasy booking. And then when it doesn't play out the exact way that y'all said or that y'all wanted to, y'all get mad. Or if y'all do book it out and it comes to fruition, then y'all say, oh, of course we knew that was going to happen. It's just like, bro, sometimes, can we just be entertained? So that's why I said I'm somewhat with Triple H, because sometimes y'all do a lot, and sometimes I feel like other people have ruined the experience of wrestling for me sometimes, again, with their spoilers and with their negativity about everything. But again, when y'all right, y'all right. So let's go into one of the main things that was talked about coming into this WrestleMania season, which is the over-involvement of celebrities, okay? To me, that is a very, very, very valid-ass critique that has come about, this WrestleMania season. And yes, because I've been doing my research over the last 2 years or whatever, looking back at all at old WrestleManias and history and stuff like that. Yes, I know that celebrities have always been kind of part of WrestleMania, but it did feel like this year was Celebrity Mania, and because I'm in marketing and I work in corporate America, so because I am in marketing, I I see through, and it's not just because I'm in marketing. The regular fan sees through it, but I'm saying why I see through it. I completely see through the nonsense because to me, having Pat McAfee on this show absolutely, absolutely sounds like somebody in leadership who don't know what the fuck they're talking about, just jumping in and being like, y'all need to do this, y'all need to do that. Like, ooh, I wish I could tell a story so badly about my job. But I just want to say that a year or so ago, right, I had something similar happen at my job where we were marketing, let's just say a book, right? This book or catalog that had a bunch of products in it. And we've been doing this for a long time. And somebody from leadership literally at the last minute came in and said that we should hire Bill Nye the Science Guy. Bill Nye the Science Guy. Now, yes, that's a known name. But for what we were trying to push, that idea made literally no sense. It made no sense. And that's what this reminded me of. It reminded me of that exact situation. I can tell when somebody from leadership thinks that they have a bright idea and oh my gosh, because this person has a name that like it's gonna help boosting. It doesn't work. Sometimes it works like that for certain things, but other things it don't work like that. You can't just throw certain people names and shit. And again, now I'm about to really get into my marketing bag real fast, okay? Because it was really irking me that they were literally, whoever, Ari, Manu, all of them were literally just throwing in certain celebrities just because y'all feel like it's going to get people to fucking pay attention. Here's the thing about it. It's nothing wrong with having celebrities, but it has to make sense. I'm going to tell you what y'all did that did make sense. Friday or like whatever, Thursday or Friday, right before WrestleMania, Jay Uso goes on the It Is What It Is podcast, which I love that podcast. It's with Cam and Mace. If you don't know, that's two rappers, right? Cam is from Dipset. Mace is from, he was on Bad Boy, all that other stuff, right? And they have a sports podcast. And Jay Uso went on this show. And during this show, there was a segment, right? Pretty much, in this whole segment, it was like a 30-minute long segment. It was really, really good. And they're asking Jay all these questions, and throughout the interview, you can see that Cam is getting irritated with Jay. Jay is getting irritated with Cam. And eventually, by the end of it, Jay comes and he reaches and grabs Cam across the fucking table. And, he punches him or whatever. And that little clip, that shit went viral all damn day. I would love to see where they are in views of that. Hold on, I would love to see where they are. Because the last time that I had checked in like 24 hours, I think it was at like 400,000 views or whatever. It's at almost 600,000 views, and it's only been like almost a week, right? To me, I don't know who y'all talked to or who was tapped in, but that's how you do celebrity involvement, specifically when it comes to wrestling. If you're gonna do it, it has to make sense. And the reason why, if you don't know, why Cam in that situation makes sense is because that is really Cam's personality. Yes, Cam was obviously acting and putting on, but the point of the matter is that is really how Cam is. So him acting pretty much like himself, right? But just turning it up a little bit and injecting it into the WWE world, that makes all the sense in the world. That confrontation that we see between Jay and Cam could actually happen in real life. It actually ain't even that far off from what happened with him and Adrian Broner, like not that long ago, when he cursed him the fuck out because he was talking to the host, was flirting with the host real bad. So that's why stuff like that works. And that's one thing I would say, that a lot of times leadership be so disconnected from what the everyday person thinks, from even honestly entertainment and how people view things. That works because that aligns with Cam's personality. The only thing about that people will be like, okay, not necessarily, is the fact that Jay dragged him across the table. Because we know Kim about them hands. Kim gonna take it there. But outside of that one part, which, I mean, we get it, it's wrestling. Everything about that worked because that is literally Cam's personality, and that is probably exactly how he would approach some shit like that. So it's like, if you're gonna use celebrities, we have to make it make sense. Hell, let's throw Yachty in there for a second. Lil Yachty, first of all, I want to say this. Lil Yachty has not been musically relevant, and this is what pisses me off too. Like, y'all get people that are relevant, but aren't, but are, but aren't. It's very confusing. Lil Yachty hasn't been, people know who he is, but he hasn't been musically relevant in probably almost 10 years at this point. Like, yes, he still puts out music, but Yachty ain't the Yachty from 2016 or 2017. He just ain't. But what I will say, though, is that the way that they have used him with Trick, that makes sense, okay? I don't know much about IShowSpeed other than the fact that he is a nice little black boy that runs around trying a whole bunch of, you know, going to different countries and doing all this other shit. So I can't say whether or not that fits his personality, but it seems like it does, right? Pat McAfee, and you also notice that everybody that I said that made sense was black, right? And we're going to get into the blackness of it all, too. See, that's why I told you, I got to do a whole thing before we even get to WrestleMania, because I got a lot of feelings, okay? So, the whole thing with Pat McAfee, this is the thing. It made 0 sense for 1,000,010 reasons that everybody has already gone over. First of all, Pat McAfee has been gone from the commentators table for God knows how long. And one of the last times that we saw him, okay, he was literally standing up for Michael Cole against Gunther, however the hell you want to say his name. That was literally one of the last times that we saw him, is him standing up and him, quote unquote, being a baby face, standing up for Michael Cole because Gunther was being an asshole to him, okay? So it's like, how do we go from 1 minute from you being damn near a baby face and standing up for the commentators table, you dip away for God knows how long. You've been going for months on end, right? Months on end. I don't even care about what he said about old wrestling. I don't even care about that. It's the fact that you've been going for months on end. And then when you finally do pop up, it's in the middle of a situation that really didn't fucking need you. You was not needed for the Cody and Randy situation. They had it. They were doing just fine. Randy had just turned heel or whatever, did his big one. Nobody needed your help. Nobody needed you to be invited. And I want to make this very clear as somebody, again, that's in marketing. Whoever thought that adding Pat McAfee to this was going to move ticket sales, you should be fired. And I don't even like calling for people's jobs all like that. But the point of the matter is that anybody, and I mean anybody, who thought that Pat McAfee being added to this freaking lineup, right, was going to move any tickets, you deserve to be fired. I don't care if that's Ari Emanuel. You should fire your damn self. Because that literally makes no fucking sense at all. Who the fuck is Pat McAfee that he's about to put butts in seats? He's not. It's really just that simple. He's not. He's not gonna fucking do it. And specifically, as somebody, me, who constantly goes to Vegas, I love, as y'all know, I go to Vegas like at least maybe twice a year, if not at bare minimum one. I was just there in November for my birthday, okay? And I'm going again in a few months. I love Vegas. And when you're walking on the strip, right? When you're walking up and down the strip, there's always people that's handing you stuff to do, right? Like, oh, you know, like, come to this comedy show, come to this, come to that, come to this. I don't think that TKO was having people hand shit out. But if you was, I'm going to tell you something right now. I'm not going to WrestleMania if I'm walking down the strip and the big attraction, put it like this, if I was walking down the strip and somebody handed me something to be like, oh, you could go to WrestleMania for like, let's just say $50 or whatever. Pat McAfee would not be the reason that I bought that ticket, that $50 ticket. If I bought it, it's because, oh, I love, when I was a kid, I love Randy Orton. Let me go up for Randy Orton. Or, oh, I've heard of Jade before. She's really cool. Let me go see her. Or, oh, in general, I've just never been to a WrestleMania. Pat McAfee is not putting nobody in the fucking seats. Nobody. Fire whoever made that decision. I don't care if it's Ari Emanuel. Fire him then. Because it made 0 sense at all. And then the way that y'all interjected him, like I said, for him to be gone for that long, like, it's not even like, it would have made more sense if y'all would have brought Pat back as a commentator, right? And then slowly but surely throughout the weeks, you see him kind of like turning. You know what I'm saying? Like you see him not being the nicest when Cody comes out, or you see him hyping Randy up at the commentator's table, and then he gets up, you know, during one of the programs and kicks Cody in the balls or whatever the case may be. That makes sense. But to just have him come out of nowhere, oh, he was the person on the phone. What are we even doing? And the goal of that was for y'all to get more tickets sold. All y'all did was make people not want to go. That's all that y'all did. All y'all did was make... Oh, this is going to have to be a separate video. I'm going to have to do 3 videos. I'm sorry. All y'all did was make it so that nobody wanted to go. That's just on point blank in the period. Point blank in the period. It was just dumb. And then most importantly, right... Like I said, it was just way too many freaking celebrities involved. Like, there were so many celebrities. Again, I don't mind how I Show Speed was used. I don't mind how Yachty was used. But it feels like everything outside of that, like Jelly Roll, what the fuck is the point? Like, I get that Jelly Roll really likes wrestling. He really wants to be part of it. But it's just like, y'all not adding nothing. Y'all not adding nothing. And then, let me just finish this off. Because this, like I said, this is going to be its own video. And I'm going to do one for night 1 and night 2. But... again, somebody in marketing, I've been clocking it from the very beginning. Since I came back to watching wrestling, I've been slowly but surely seeing y'all trying to market towards the black people, okay? And y'all doing it, and I saw it very heavy this weekend, because you want to know why? You want to know why? Because y'all know that as black people, we the one who move the culture. We the one who say what's popping and what's not popping. We say what's hot and what's not. We the ones that actually get the conversation moving on Twitter, on social media. That's why that Cam video went crazy. Not just because because it's Cam, obviously, and because it's wrestling. But it's also a situation where it's like, when it comes to black people, we really do move the culture. We really do move shit. And as Dwight said, as I always love to bring up that clip that he said on The Office, you gotta get black people to like it, and then that'll get white people to like it, and then you gotta get black people to stop liking it and to stop engaging. That's just a fact. That's exactly how this business world works, at least in America, point blank period. And so you got Jade on the Joe Button podcast. You got Jay on Cam and Mace's show. You got a Trick over there on the Pivot podcast. You got a few people over there on Nightcap or whatever with Shannon and Ocho Cinco or whatever. It's like, okay, I see what y'all trying to do. And to be fair, the 3 black men that was called up from NXT and was on this WrestleMania card, they did their big one. Shout out to Oba. Shout out to Javon. Shout out to Trick. Bitch, shout out to motherfucking Jay. Bitch, shout out to my girl Bianca. I'm so sad. We'll get to that in a second. But congratulations also. I see what y'all trying to do. But this is the whole thing about it. Y'all can't just, when y'all feel like it or when y'all need black people, which is during this time frame, to like just throw them on shows or whatever. And I also noticed that during like the shows throughout the year that y'all will have like rappers and like, even I think at WrestleMania, I think the, what is it, Let's Rap About a Podcast, so Mano, Fab, Dave East, and Jim Jones was all there. I see what y'all trying to do. Y'all gonna have to lean into a little bit more, and more importantly, the way that y'all literally played on what's my homeboy's name from Griselda? Is it from Griselda that loves wrestling, and y'all kicked him out? Like, please. If we gonna market to black people, we gonna have to do it the right way, and we gotta do it in a way that can make sense. How about not only do we just throw these wrestlers onto very popular podcasts, but how about we also give these black wrestlers to black content creators on YouTube or whatever that makes the most sense. Somebody should have been sitting, as many times as y'all have used In the Clutch shit, somebody should be over there in the clutch. As much as I've seen y'all use Mike shit, somebody should be sitting over there with Mike, because my thing is, you gotta mesh the boat. You gotta do more. You gotta do more than the surface. You got to do more than the surface. Yes, we appreciate the black talent going to the black places, but at the same time, at the end of the day, you need to have people that are in the IWC that are black that are interviewing these black ass people. And then from there, we can sprinkle some people here and sprinkle some people here. But I would like to say again that I was paying attention to the whole marketing situation of it all. Let me see. Is there anything else that I want to get into in this video before I move on to WrestleMania Night 1? I think that's really everything. So I'm gonna just so we're gonna stop for now because I just ran my mouth for way too long, and we're gonna come back with my next video for WrestleMania. Now I'm probably gonna do night 1 and night 2 because why the hell am I talking about night 1 and night 2 together? And then actually, let's see if I can knock this out real fast because I genuinely don't have much to say about WrestleMania Night 1. WrestleMania Night 1 kicks off. Okay, we have LA Knight, Jey Uso, and Jimmy Uso against Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and I Show Speed. Okay, now we know what happened with all of the with all of the injuries, right? Seth got injured, Braun got injured. So it really, I think, would have probably been like Seth and Braun, the whole Vision situation. But now the Vision, as we keep saying, is blind because it's trash. Nobody gives a shit about Logan Paul. Austin Theory is a fine-ass white boy, but I don't know much about him. I can't be bothered to fucking care, okay? And Paul Heyman is so wrapped up in pretty much everything that was going on with Brock that it's like he was kind of like hit or miss for real when it came to them. So... Oh, also, I didn't even watch night 1 like live because I was outside. I was outside bar hopping, having a nice black ass time. That's what I was doing. So all of this shit I watched. Thank God. And you know what? I purposely was like, ooh, WrestleMania's due. I said no because I don't care about Saturday. I'm gonna come back. And thank God I did because I was able to fast forward through all of this bullshit. The match it is what it was. It wasn't really that good. I Show Speed did the little spot where he jumped from the top and hit, I think, Logan or whatever. So that was cool. That is what it was. Jacob Fatu versus Drew McIntyre. I was excited about this fight because I think that these are two people separately that fight really well. But I think they said it was like either an unsanctioned or a street fight. It damn sure didn't feel like it. It felt like, to me, one of the weakest fights from both of them that I've seen. Like, the storyline to me was built up, I feel like, pretty well. But I feel like as far as the execution is concerned, it wasn't really that great. Then we have the Bella Twins, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, Bayley and Lyra, and Nia Jax and Lash Legend in a fatal 4-way, whatever. Now, one of the Bella Twins messed up their knee or their ankle or some shit, so they got some lady named Paige. See, that's one of the things I don't know too, since I'm still pretty new, is when they be like bringing back old people that's been going for 10 years, I wasn't watching during 10 years. So that Paige thing didn't move me. I'm pretty sure it moved some other people. It didn't move me at all. That was one of the weakest shit I've ever saw in my life. To me, it was very clear that from the Royal Rumble, when the women's Royal Rumble happened and one of the Bella Twins came back, that y'all was trying to set them up to come and take the women's tag team championship. I don't know why y'all... I do know the Bella Twins. Like, even though I wasn't watching wrestling, I am familiar with the Bella Twins. And it's like, why when we have Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair that could just take it back? Why when we have Bayley and Lyra that could just hold it? I'm not a big fan of Nia Jax, but I like Lash Legend a lot. I think she's really good. Trash. Becky Lynch and AJ Lee. What was the point of this? What was the point of AJ Lee coming back? Because one of the things that, like, Roman said to CM Punk during one of their promos, because CM Punk kept being like, oh, you're a part-timer champion, you're never here. And he was like, you should know, you should ask your wife. And I'm like, period. Because I don't know nothing about AJ Lee either, because I wasn't around, I wasn't watching wrestling when she was wrestling. But the point of the matter is, like, she came back to really just do a Chicago show here and there and maybe 1 or 2 PLEs and then just be gone the whole time. Like, what was the point of her coming back if we wasn't gonna really do the story? And to me personally, I don't like the way that AJ Lee's, I'm so sorry. Y'all might really like her, and again, y'all clearly have an attachment to her because, you know, y'all was watching her when she was in her prime wrestling, but not me. From an outsider looking in, it's like my first time knowing this lady. I don't understand why she's still skipping. You're a grown-ass woman. Like, not that grown-ass woman can't skip, but everything about her entrance and the music and even down to the shorts, it just gives that, like, It gives very kiddish. Like, you're a grown ass woman. Step out like a grown ass woman. I'm tired of all the damn skipping. I'm tired of and I hate the way that she cuts a daggone promo. I think I just don't like her style of promo. So to me, there's no point of her being there. She's cute, she's small, like me, but outside of that, she don't give me much. I like Becky Lynch. I think she's a great wrestler. I love her Trump kind of whatever personality that she's doing. I'm glad that Becky Lynch won. Oh, I didn't even say who won. LA Knight, Jey Uso, and Jimmy Uso won. Jacob Fatu beat Drew McIntyre. Brie Bella and Paige beat the rest of the women. And then Becky Lynch beat AJ Lee. Awesome. Great. Next thing we have is Gunther and Seth Rollins. To me, this was the best fight of the entire night or whatever. Shouldn't be surprised. Now, I don't like Gunther as a... This is my problem with Gunther. I think he's a really good wrestler, right? But my problem with Gunther is how much he's protected. I don't respect it. I don't respect how much he's protected. He lost to Jey Uso. Out of all people, he lost to Jey Uso last year, but that's it. He hasn't lost before that. He hasn't lost since that. And I just think it's a bunch of bullshit. I think when I was growing up, again, there was a lot of people, that was like the top guy or whatever, but they were still allowed to lose. Stone Cold Steve Austin was allowed to lose. The Rock was allowed to lose. Like, I don't understand this idea that Gunther is just not allowed to, like, he just can't lose anything. I think it's a bunch of bullshit. It's not real life. I don't understand why he keeps winning again and again and again and again and again. Like, at some point in time, and the fact that the only person that you lost to is Jay, that doesn't even make sense in the grand scheme of like what y'all are trying to present him to be. How is it that out of everybody, out of all of these people that he fought, Jey Uso was the one that made him tap out? That don't even make sense in the logic of what y'all are trying to set Gunther up to be. But all I have to say is that y'all know Seth Rollins is my favorite wrestler. Love him, love his entrance, love his promo skills, love his wrestling, love his intensity, love his marriage with Becky. I just love him. To me, he's perfect. I don't care. And I felt like they had a really, really, really good match, which is pretty much, again, what I expect. Again, Gunther, he puts on good matches, and so does Seth. So that was always going to be a good match, but I think it just didn't make sense. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt because it really gives that they wanted Gunther on there, but they didn't have nothing for him. And they wanted Seth, but everything with the vision was so like, let's just put these two people together. Did it make sense to me? No. Was it a good match? Yes. Then we have Liv Morgan versus, and Gunther beat Seth Rollins. Then we have Liv Morgan versus Stephanie Vicaire for the Women's World Championship. I, again, didn't know nothing about Stephanie Vicaire until she came up, and I feel as if the feud between her and Liv was very much so lackluster. It started to pick up steam in like the last 2 to 3 weeks or whatever, but it was I'm gonna tell you what the story of Liv and Stephanie is the haves versus the have-nots, the privileged versus the unprivileged, and that's even how y'all really like framed it. I will never ever appreciate that promo that y'all made Liv cut when she was like, oh, like, you the one who live in mud huts, and like pure racism. Like, the racism was just spilling out. The racism was just spilling out throughout this entire feud, which is the main reason I didn't like it, because it felt like somebody in the back room was just trying to get their damn Hispanic hate off, okay? MAGA WWE, it was given very much so MAGA WWE with the shit that was coming out of Liv's mouth. And the point of the matter is that this match wasn't even that long, and Liv won like I thought she would. It is what it is. Was the match good? Not the fuck really. I've seen them have better matches on a regular damn program. And then lastly, we have Cody versus Randy Orton, okay? And as we just went through, the whole Pat McAfee thing really messed this entire feud up. I think that they were a little bit, I think WWE wanted Cody to get the cheers and Randy to get the boos, but oh my gosh, it's like, I haven't even been here that long, and I'm picking up on like little things that I feel like people who's been here for 20, 30 plus years should have picked up on. Last year, when y'all did Cody versus John Cena, y'all wanted John Cena to be healed so badly, and y'all wanted people to boo him. But the point of the matter is that these are legacy acts. I need y'all to understand something, especially as somebody, like I said, that was more of a casual, and especially if that was who y'all was like, who the majority of y'all audience was. People are not going to boo a legacy act. It don't matter, heel or not heel, unless they do something extremely egregious. Nobody is booing John Cena. It don't matter that he turned heel because he's a legacy act. Nobody's booing Randy Orton because Randy is a legacy act. So it does not matter. It don't matter. You can't keep putting certain legends in front of a baby face and expecting a crowd to be upset with them. No, it's not gonna happen. He's Randy Orton. Randy Orton literally has, I don't even know when he debuted, but I just remember that when I was watching wrestling, I remember him coming in. Now, I can't remember the year, but I remember, it was the Attitude Era people, and then I remember Randy coming in being very, 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 very young and him being the heel. I told y'all from the beginning, Triple H was my husband, Batista was my boyfriend, Randy Orton was my side piece. That's how I was when I was a kid. So I remember Randy Orton from when he first came in and to now. So he's been wrestling for over 20-something years. The emotional investment is going to be into Randy because that's who the majority, if you're at least around my age, 30 and up or whatever, that's who you've seen. Now, again, I wasn't around for Cody, so there's probably an attachment to him too, but it's not the same. Randy is Randy. Point blank period. It's not gonna fucking change. So y'all trying to bring in Pat McAfee to try to get him boos. It don't work like that. Randy's not gonna get the boos. Pat is gonna get the boos. Now Randy will get booed if he continued when he was hyping Pat up. But at the end of the day, Pat's not the one that's in the ring. And it was also very frustrating because after a while, it's like, who is Cody going against? Is Cody going against Pat McAfee or is he going against fucking Randy Orton? It did not make sense. I want to say like, right before WrestleMania 2, right, Pat McAfee goes on his show and puts up this clip. It shows Cody coming into his studio, whatever, and breaking the glass and grabbing a championship. Why the fuck does Pat McAfee even have a championship? For what? For what? For what? It was stupid. It made absolutely no sense. Everybody deserves to be fired. I'm sorry. So they come out together. Pat McAfee and Randy Orton comes out together or whatever. I'm thankful that we got Pat McAfee out of here pretty fast. Somebody like, I think Cody kicked him in the balls or whatever. He didn't kick him in the balls. He gave him whatever move that is that Cody does. He did that. Cool, got him out the way. When I'm telling you, because again, it was like after midnight, it was like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning when I'm watching this. I was hitting that damn 10 skip button so many times for this whole match because I'm like, bro, what are we doing? Why are we starting off so slow? Why is this like a slow moving ass fucking situation? I didn't understand that. The match was completely trash. It felt like it came off to me like neither Cody or Randy really even wanted to be here, that they was just going to do whatever. And I feel like they purposefully tanked this match because it was more so like Ari Emanuel and them that threw Pat in there. So it was like, we gonna give you nothing. We gonna give you nothing. And that's exactly what we got. We got absolutely nothing. Randy hits a RKO on Pat McAfee. Don't know why that was. Like, it was literally out of nowhere. The match made no sense at all. Oh, sorry, what I was saying about the whole trying to get Cody booed. When it gets down to or to get cheers, at the end of the day, people are tired of Cody. I only been here for like I said, 2 years, a year and some change. People are tired of Cody. It doesn't really matter. A lot of times when you become like the top person in a company, eventually, and especially the good guy, people are gonna get tired of you because for real, that's not real life, bro. Real life is not Cody Rhodes. It's not, and I mean Cody Rhodes in the sense of, oh, I'm just always the good guy and like. The pure baby face of it all, and I've already done a video on this, it needs to stop. It needs to stop. That's why Cody is getting booed, because people are tired of the good guy act. It feels forced. It feels fake. It feels fraudulent. It don't feel like that's really who Cody is or who any real person would be. Y'all need to step more into the nuance of the character. How many more times are we going to keep going through this shit with Cody? Cody is going to, where Sammy is right now, as much as he's getting booed, that's what's going to happen. And when Cody walked his ass into there, yes, people did the whoa, but people were still booing him because we're tired. It's time to move on. I don't want to say move on, but it's time to do something different with Cody. I ain't say turn him heel, but it's time to do something different with Cody. Again, Randy Orton hit an RKO on Pat McAfee. Didn't make any sense. Don't know why. That wasn't explained. It was just a pure mess. It was a mess. And I was just sitting there like, I honestly fell asleep. Like, I fell asleep on the Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton thing. Then I woke up the next morning, I fast forwarded through, and I was like, what a waste of time. What a waste of fucking time. What a waste of time. Don't ever waste my time like that again, WWE. Y'all wasted my time. All of night one was a waste of time. That's why I sped through it. It was a waste of time. Nothing felt important. Nothing felt like it just didn't make sense. Like it just literally didn't make any sense to me. None of the matches felt intense other than Seth and Gunther, and obviously them two was going to do their job. But yeah, I was completely disappointed in night one. Completely disappointed. It was fucking trash. So trash. So trash. My goodness today. But yeah, but that's that. That was night one, and I'll be back with night two.